The knock came at 9:47 p.m. 3 times. Soft. Hesitant. I knew who it was before I opened the door. Some sounds carry memory. My mother's knock always sounded like an apology she never meant. Through the peephole, 2 figures, backlit by the hallway fluorescent. Older. Smaller than I remembered. My father's shoulders hunched forward like a question mark. My mother's hands twisted together at her chest. 8 years. Not a word. Not a card. Not even when Grandma Rose died and left me everything. I opened the door. "Sweetheart," my mother started. "No," I said. Her face crumpled. My father stepped forward, eyes wet, hands reaching. "Please, just 5 minutes. We need to explain." "You had 17 years to explain." I started to close the door. My father wedged his shoe in the gap. "Your brother," he said. "He's sick. Stage 4. We can't afford." Brother. The word tasted like rust. Cameron. Golden child. Yale legacy. The son who made them proud while I slept on a friend's couch and worked 3 jobs to finish community college. "Get your foot out of my door," I said quietly. Something in my voice made him move. The door clicked shut. I pressed my forehead against the cold wood and listened to them cry in the hallway. Then I walked to my desk and opened the folder I had been building for 6 months. The 1% comment wasn't metaphorical. It was statistical. At 17, sitting at that dinner party while my mother's friends laughed and my father pointed at me like exhibit evidence, I didn't understand. The family mistake. The 1%. Birth control isn't foolproof, but at least Cameron was planned. They laughed. I left, but the word stayed. At 19, working overnight shifts at a diner, I took a genetics course online. For fun, for distraction, for something that felt like control. That's when I learned about blood types. My parents, both type A. Me, type B. Not impossible, just improbable. By 21, I had saved enough for a private DNA test, sent it to a lab 3 states away using a fake name, waited 6 weeks that felt like drowning. Results came back at 3 a.m. I read them in my car outside a 7-Eleven. 0 paternal match. Cameron? 50% match. Half sibling. Same mother? Different father. I sat there until sunrise, watching the numbers on the page rearrange my entire childhood into something I couldn't name. I didn't confront them. What would be the point? They had already told me who I was. Mistake. Accident. Disposable. Instead, I disappeared. Changed my number. Blocked their emails. Moved twice. Built a life they couldn't touch. When Grandma Rose died, her lawyer called me personally. She had removed my parents from her will 3 years before her death. Left me the house in Portland, the savings account, the stock portfolio she'd been quietly building since the 1970s. She said you were the only one who visited. The lawyer told me. I had visited. Every Sunday. Brought groceries. Read to her. Listened to stories about her late husband and the daughter she raised alone. My mother, her daughter, came twice a year. Christmas and birthday. Always with Cameron. Never with me. Grandma Rose noticed. She always noticed. My brother's GoFundMe went live 4 days after they knocked on my door. I found it through a mutual acquaintance who didn't know we were estranged. The story was heartbreaking. Detailed. Specific about Cameron's diagnosis. The experimental treatment. The $340,000 they needed. What it didn't mention. The inheritance they spent. The reverse mortgage they took on the house. The gambling problem my father developed after retirement. The cruise they took to Greece last year while Cameron's symptoms were already showing. I knew all of it, because Grandma Rose's lawyer had kept me informed. My parents had been calling in for 2 years, trying to contest the will, claiming I manipulated her, claiming she wasn't sound of mind. Every claim dismissed, every lawsuit dropped.
They burned through everything fighting me for money they never earned. And now they needed more.
I donated to the GoFundMe, $50,000, anonymously, with a message only my mother would understand. From the 1%, for the planned one. The phone calls started within hours, voicemails filled with confusion, gratitude, then suspicion. My mother's voice cracking. "Was that you? Please, please call us back. We need to explain. We were young. We made mistakes. Your father, he's not—" Delete. My father, sobbing. "I loved you. I raised you. Biology doesn't matter. Please, Cameron needs his sister." Sister. First time he'd ever called me that. I saved that one. I never responded. Cameron got his treatment. My parents lost the house 6 months later. Last I heard, they're renting a 1-bedroom in Tacoma. My father's working part-time at Home Depot. My mother cleans houses. Cameron survived. He sent me a letter last week, found me through the lawyer. It's still sealed on my counter. I look at it sometimes while I drink my coffee in the house Grandma Rose left me, the house my mother grew up in, the house that was supposed to go to her. Some nights I think about opening it. Most nights I don't, because I already know what it says. They all say the same thing eventually. "We're sorry. We didn't know. Please forgive us." But forgiveness requires a wound, and I stopped bleeding the night I walked out with $42 and a backpack. They didn't discard me. They freed me, and now they'll spend the rest of their lives understanding the difference. I close the folder, turn off the light. The envelope sits in the dark, just like I did, for 17 years. Let it wait.